That's all right. Okay, well, thank you first, Tony, for the introduction and for this lunch and for your support, not just today, but over the years. Victory Project has really relied on organizations like Civitan and the individuals that are involved in organizations like Civitan to make Victory Project a reality. When I started Victory Project, it was from my experience in law enforcement. I saw a lot of families using the system as a surrogate parent, calling the police to deal with things that traditionally would have been handled by dad or somebody in the family of a father figure. And there was nobody to do that any longer for lots of different reasons. And so when I started out to do Victory Project, I would go to the juvenile detention center and I would talk to the young men that were locked up, and I'd ask them how they got to where they were and what their plans were after they got out. And for the most part, they were pretty honest and straightforward on how they got there. And when we talked about what they were going to do when they got out, that's where Victory Project started to form its mission, because I would hear these young men say, well, when I get out, I don't want to come back here anymore. I want to find a job. I want to find a different group of friends. I'm going to start doing better in school. I'm going to start helping my family out. And that's my plans. And I knew from my experience and just talking to professionals in the Montgomery County Juvenile Court, Sheriff's Department, and places, Dayton Police Department, that the reality was when they got out, they go back to the same neighborhood, the same house, the same lack of opportunities. And no matter how good your intentions were initially, the situation would beat you down and you'd be right back to where you started. So when I sat down to start VP, I said, we got to really offer an alternative to the streets, because my first several jobs were bike rides away. I'd get on my bike, I could ride to work. For a kid today that wants a job and lives in the inner city, they have to take a 50-minute bus ride, and to get those entry-level jobs. And you're just as likely to find a 60-year-old as a 16-year-old working behind the counter of fast food. So we said, well, that's something we can address. So Victory Project came up with our 3 E's: education, entrepreneurship, and enlightenment. So educationally, we work with our young men to graduate high school and pursue secondary education. For us, we promote trades, military, and college in that order. We have a lot of guys who are going to go to college just because they have the mindset, but most of our guys aren't prepared for college. We have guys that graduate Dayton Public Schools on the honor roll, and they go to Sinclair and they can't pass the entrance exams. They have to go to remedial classes just to even get this. So we know the school system, for lots of reasons, isn't meeting the needs. So we think trades and military are great options, and those who are ready, we promote college. Entrepreneurship is very unique because we start our own small businesses. So young men that come to VP get a chance to go to work at our facility. So they don't have to travel 50 minutes one way. They can travel 10 to 15 minutes and be at our facility, where they're going to get an opportunity to work and make above minimum wage. So we've started with a landscaping business, and just recently we were able to hire Jason, who you'll hear from in just in a second, and we started construction work. And the way the program works is the guys who come to VP, number one, are there voluntarily. They can't be mandated to participate, so we've got a really strong individual with good character. They got to participate in programming, which by committing to a certain amount of hours at VP. They can't get in trouble at home or in school or in the community. And the reward for that is they get to go to work. So each week they're working to go to work. So right away you got a group of guys that, number one, it's hard to get in the program, it's hard to stay, it's hard to get to work. So the guys that we produce that graduate VP are really ready for the workforce. They've got the work ethic, they've got the understanding of why it's important to be on time and be putting a full day's work in, and they're eager to work. So, and we have, our business has grown significantly this year. I think you have the numbers, we'll share in a second, but it's been a remarkable year for our small businesses. And finally, the enlightenment piece. We're a Christian organization. We believe that God has a plan for each one of us, and we try to help those young men discover what that plan is. And we often tell the boys we don't know what it is, but we know what it's not. It's not incarceration. It's not violent death. It's not poverty. It's something fantastic. So we're going to try to help you discover that. And we do that through Bible study. And we do that through having dinner together 5 nights a week. We serve about 5,000 meals a year at our facility. And we do it by consistency of services. We're open 6 days a week until 8 o'clock at night. We're open every holiday but Christmas. because the streets don't close. So if we want to compete with the street, you got to be available. And so VP has just an amazing group of staff and volunteers that help support us, amazing young men that don't have to be there, but they choose to be there. And we're able to do all these things without any government funding because we want to practice what we preach. And so we don't want the government telling us that we can't talk about Jesus or how we spend the money, but we want to partner with the local governments to show some of our local governments are our customers. Now they hire us for landscaping, they hire us to do work for them. So VP is a unique model, and this year was our very best year. We went from about 17 students to almost 35 students this year. We had over 100% increase in students. We had 100% increase in staff. We have a 50% increase in funding and support, and we give God the credit. Number one, we also give our staff and volunteers and students the credit. And I would love to invite every single one of you down for a tour. If you get a chance to come in and meet these kids, you understand what I'm talking about. They're incredible young men, and we're in the early stages of 2018 of doing research and development to start a Girls Victory project. So we're doing we're in a position financially we can look in that direction for the future, and so we're going to start praying about it and then doing some good groundwork to see how that would work. So we're excited about it. And so maybe share 2 minutes. I'm taking a lot of that time up, so a couple minutes.
Yep. So my name is Jason Wilson, and I work at Victory Project as Director of Business Development. Monnie and I really get to know each other a year ago, and started discussing I wanted to know more about Victory Project, and as he continued to share with me more of what Victory Project is all about, kind of like the moth to the flame, I just wanted to get closer and closer to it. And then found, as Monnie would describe in the entrepreneurship side of things, this next level that Victory Project was wanting to go with in business. And the more Monnie would describe what Victory Project would want to accomplish and the reasons why. So in other words, creating more job opportunities, the reason why, because these young men deserve it. As I continue to hear the vision, is very clear to me that it was what the Lord wanted me to do. And so the transition was one that was just hand in a glove. My background is 25 years plus in construction. My dad has a small business, construction, residential, commercial work, and then also ministry. I've been a pastor over the past 25 years. And so the two just really combine together. So I get the privilege to create more job opportunities through the week. And then on Saturdays being the primary time that our young boys get to work, we try to get about 6 to 8 hours worth of work for them. And as Monnie has mentioned, very difficult for them to get good part-time work, steady work, and with also positive surroundings with them, peers, and then also our customers. So all of those things in mind, we continue to strive to create more job opportunities for our young men, and we've recognized with our efforts God's doing even bigger and better things. One of the numbers that Monnie was alluding to is very interesting to me, is seeing even the hours the boys are averaging, even in this last year, have almost doubled. From what they were getting to what they are now. So of course that means more work is coming in, but it means that their paychecks are getting a little bit bigger too, which is a blessing for them. I've recognized personally working with the young men on Saturdays and even sometimes during the week if they're on break and we have the work for them. They really enjoy putting their hands to work that is good work, healthy work, profitable work. And like we were even talking earlier, seeing when you put your hands to something and constructing a wall and stepping back and seeing that, it brings a good sense of pride into their life. Mowing and mulching, doing those types of work in our landscaping business, it's just you can see their hearts are full when they put their hands to good work. So I'm blessed that I get to be a part of this, blessed to be a part of this Victory Project in my role, and even more blessed to work alongside our young students as we move forward.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.